And welcome to Newsmax now, hour 2, if you will, as a matter of fact. Joining me this hour, I'm proud to start off the hour with Stephen Moore. He's a former Trump economic advisor. He's a senior fellow with the Heritage Foundation, and he is a Newsmax finance insider. And he is here to talk about everybody's dreaded topic, but their favorite topic, especially if they're going lower, taxes. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill.
Did they screw this up? I mean, why? I mean, did they screw it up? They got the numbers, Stephen. Why didn't this just happen?
Well, it's taken a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Here we are
it really
at the middle end of November. I wish they had had this done in April.
Yeah.
But look, I think it's actually coming together. I think that there's a high probability now that Republicans are going to pass this bill. In the next 2 weeks, that they'll get it to Donald Trump's desk by Christmas. There's still a lot of stuff that has to be ironed out, a lot of details. What are you going to do about the estate tax? What are you going to do with income people? And those are the job creators in the economy. I talked to a lot of people, by the way, here in New York and California who say, wait a minute, my taxes are going to go up, not down. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of details that have to be worked out. But this is going to be the biggest tax cut since Reagan. And I think it's going to bring a lot of, remember, the centerpiece of the plan is cutting those business tax rates. So we have, as Trump says, the most competitive tax system in the world.
What is your primary issue? Is it the fact that it doesn't lower that upper rate, or what is your biggest problem?
Good question. I think a couple of things. Number one, I want to see everybody's rates come down. Everybody. You know, the deal is you broaden the tax base and you lower the rates. Well, they lowered the rates for everybody except the people in top 2 or 3%. Now, those are the people who pay the vast majority of the taxes, and why should they have a tax increase? I want everybody to pay less. Number two, I agree with Senator Johnson of Wisconsin that we ought to do more to help small businesses, because they, now there is aid to small businesses in this bill, but it doesn't cut the small business taxes as much as it does the corporate tax. So let's fix that. And then there are a couple other things. By the way, I feel so passionately, though, they have got to keep in here, Bill, I just have my fingers crossed on this, get rid of the employer, the individual mandate under Obamacare. By the way, that's a tax cut if you get rid of that for low-income people. So why are the Democrats against that?
Well, no, it's really funny. Let's talk about that for a quick second here, because everybody out here, just think about this for 1 second, okay? Because the individual mandate demands that you buy health insurance. The lowest plan, the bronze plan, is a $6,000 deductible. There are high costs going to the doctor. That amounts to, just to cut through all the BS, about $500 a month that you have to pay, and you're not getting anything for it. You're not really getting anything for it.
No, so not only you're not getting for it, and then the left said, oh, all these people are going to lose their insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not losing their insurance. They don't want to buy it. They can't afford it. A lot of these people are people in their mid-20s. $500 a month for health insurance in the free market. You could go out and get a policy for half that amount. And isn't it interesting, Bill? I mean, liberals love to talk about, oh, Obamacare is so great for people. They love it. They subsidize it for people at the bottom of the income scale. Then they penalize you if you don't buy it. People still don't want it.
The craziest part about the Obamacare thing is if you have too good of insurance, you're going to pay a penalty for it, which makes the least sense of everything. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Moore. Your insurance is too good, so we're going to penalize you for that.
Now, the other thing is, Bill, this is really important. I'm so glad we're having this discussion. Nobody's going to lose to Obamacare. If you like Obamacare, you get to keep it. It's just saying if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. Now, tell me, Bill, any other industry in America where the government forces you to buy their product?
Well, there isn't one. No, there isn't one. And the only problem I have with that, and I'm going to get back to taxes, but the only problem I have with that, first of all,
this is a tax issue.
No, it isn't.
That is a tax.
But what do I do when you say, you know what, I don't want to buy insurance, and then you leave the studio, you walk across the street, you get hit by a car.
No, look,
now you're going to go to the ER. You have no insurance. What happens in that scenario?
Well, you're going to get care. I mean, no question about it. But that's a small part of insurance. My point is, we do want people to buy insurance. We want everybody to buy health insurance. But why do they have to? The reason that people in their 20s and 30s aren't buying the Obamacare is it's much more expensive than they would have to buy if they could just go out. Like you and I think, are in favor of medical savings accounts. Just have a high deductible plan that does protect you if you get hit by a car or you get cancer or something like that. But people don't want this full-plated coverage that they can't afford. That for a lot of families, that means you've got to choose between health insurance and tuition for your kid's school or putting food on the table and things like that.
No, it forces very real-life tough choices that you have to make.
Of course, rich liberals don't understand that because they can afford.
Well, no, because rich liberal, rich liberals don't mind an income tax rate of 70%, apparently, because they keep talking about how they want really high taxes. But then I look at them and I think, well, if I were making $20 million a year and I would still have $6 million left over at the end after my tax bill, I probably would be less insensitive to a 70% tax rate as well, except that we know they don't pay that.
Yeah, we also know, it's so hypocritical too. Liberals are just, hyperventilating over getting rid of the state and local tax deduction because, the blue states, the high tax states, like New York, like California, New Jersey, Minnesota, Illinois, my home state of Illinois, and they say, oh, people are going to leave the state. Well, wait a minute, I thought you said taxes don't matter, but now people, but they're right, people will leave those high tax states, and we're sitting right here in Manhattan. I guarantee you, if you get rid of the state and local tax deduction, New Yorkers have two choices. Either you cut your taxes or people are leaving.
Well, you and I've got an argument on that because I live in New Jersey, number one, just so you know.
Hey, nobody forces you to live in New Jersey.
But tax, that's money that's taxed. That's money that got taxed. The federal government taxes it anyway. You live.
Why should people in Texas, this is a good discussion, why should people in Texas and New Hampshire and Tennessee have to pay higher taxes so you get all these flabby services and you get, you've got the, the pension plans that are unfunded? Why should people out of that state have to pay for that?
Well, but you don't. We're paying. No. But that for a guy who wants lower taxes, you're a very confounding man to argue with, Stephen. Yeah. Because it's like because people in New York, people in New Jersey, and I give you they're terrible services that I get in return for that in New Jersey, but that money's taxed. Why would I need to pay it twice when you don't want me to pay it twice after I'm dead?
Well, so it's like why it can only be taxed once. So we want tax pay federal level, and we want you to lower your taxes in New York and New Jersey and the states like that. I mean, New York pays, and as a New Yorker, you would pay about $8,500 a year per person in state and local services. In New Hampshire, where the services are better, they only pay $4,000 a year. So why is it that public services are twice as expensive in New York than they are in New Hampshire?
I don't have a good answer for that.
Because there's a lot of inefficiency.
Nor do I have a good answer for how you get that changed in New York and New Jersey, because these are bluest of the blues.
They are blue,
are.
And the politicians love. But just today, the people in New Jersey, the new governor said, well, maybe we're not going to be able to raise the income tax here because they're going to lose the deductibility. So we just saved the day in New Jersey. Come on, Bill, you should be thanking me.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. Somehow this is not a really sincere thank you.
Oh, it is actually.
No, it's not. It's not a real thank you. Okay. Ron Johnson, the pass-through tax. Why? What's complicated about this? This is a small business issue that gets wrapped up in a political issue about, oh my God, there'll be like 100 people who claim this and we don't want to claim it. Yeah. Why don't we just pass it? Because the benefit is too profound. It is too great.
I agree with you. 2/3 of the jobs are created in this country by small businesses. Liberals hate employers. That's the most amazing thing. They keep talking about jobs, but they hate employers. You need healthy businesses and a good tax system and a good regulatory structure to get the growth, to get the jobs. Trump has already increased the growth rate. You know this, Bill, from 1.5% under Obama to 3% now, and we haven't passed the tax cut yet. I'm here to tell you, we passed that tax cut. We're going to get 3.5% growth for a number of years. That's going to feel really good. It's going to be a prosperous environment. You don't buy it.
I do. Yeah. I really do. I just wanted to kind of rub the salt into the wind for those people who kept telling us we as a nation have matured and we're never going to see growth above 2%.
People like Larry Summers, Paul Krugman, all the economists
allegedly intelligent people.
They're wrong.
Allegedly.
And they're the people who hate the Trump tax cut and they say it's not going to work. Well, wait a minute. You said we can get 3% growth and we got it. So you're wrong.
No, it doesn't make any sense. So, do we get both? Do we get all of this, or do we shelve the individual?
You want a home run?
Yeah.
Tax cut plus get rid of the individual mandate under Obamacare, which really, if you do that, if you give people an exit option out of Obamacare, it's going to be a stampede. You know that. Yeah. People are going to say, I don't want this health insurance, and people leave, and the system is going to die. So 2 for 1.
Susan Collins today talks about, instead of 20%, maybe we go 21, 22%. Your reaction to that?
I like Susan Collins. I think she's been, a good Republican from the state of Maine, but I don't agree with them on that. We wanted 15%. Remember that?
Oh, I know.
Now we compromised 20, then they say 22, then no, 20. Not 1 percentage point higher.
There's a lot of reason why Republicans and Democrats forget about where there are disagreements, but there are a lot of reasons where they could find agreement to get something passed. I would think.
Who?
I would think Republicans and Democrats. I would think there are Democrats who believe that this would be in their own interest. to cut
You know,
taxes.
some of them in states like Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. You've got Tester in Montana. You've got the Indiana senator, West Virginia. But Democrat, it's not your parents' Democratic Party anymore. I mean, it's a party of Bernie Sanders, of redistribution of income. And it's sad because you used to have people like Bill Bradley and Dick Gephardt and Sam Nunn who believed in this stuff. Now Democrats want to raise taxes on everybody.
And with that, we're going to end this conversation. You've ticked me off too much, Stephen Moore. Thanks very much for coming by.
Federal taxes, and we're going to get people in New Jersey to cut your taxes.
Dear God, I hope he's right. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go away.